This is Take 5 with Bentley, Nevada. In the studio with me is Carlos Gomez. Carlos is the Vice President of the Augury Strategic Alliance. And Carlos, I notice you put a lot of emphasis on the fact that it's a strategic software alliance. Maybe take a minute to help us understand why that particular aspect is so important. You touched on it in the last episode, but maybe elaborate a bit.
Absolutely. Thanks, Stephen. Nice to be on speaking to you again. So this software strategic alliance really plays a number of different roles, but maybe primarily it's fundamentally part of our, what we're calling our System 1 asset performance management ecosystem, right? So we have partnered with a machine health minded artificial intelligence and machine learning provider of a technology stack that really helps us solve a problem that fundamentally we've been working so hard to address as Bentley, and now have the ability with our partnership with Augury to go after, that set of balance of plant and general purpose machinery assets that are typically, in the thousands upon thousands for our customers who were really looking for a solution that would be cost effective as well as scalable, as well as just drive tremendous value on an outcome basis. So that's call it the overall partnership, vision behind it. And we've been with them officially since February of 2022. Mm-hmm. And it's been fantastic because beyond just the actual technology, let's say, aggregation in this ecosystem, there have been many other benefits that I'd be happy to talk about and share.
Yeah, and one of them that came up, Carlos, and we'll, whether we get to it in this particular episode or maybe one or two down the line, Jerry and I unpacked a little bit the idea of these customer success managers. I think that was probably something that Augury brought beyond the technology, was a way of ensuring value, by embedding somebody in the customer's organization to say, let us help you keep score. And I'd like to talk about that a little bit more. Jerry, not that Jerry didn't do it justice, it's just that I think we'd like to get your perspective on that too. In terms of going to customers, I'm sure that, a big part of your job as an executive, Carlos, is spending face time with customers and understanding ways that this offering might need to be tailored and tweaked and so forth. And when you go to meet with customers, are you typically going alone as Bentley, Nevada, or is Augury going with you many times?
Steve, I'd say that very often, right, we're side by side in really presenting this joint vision of how, as part of our ecosystem, right, they are a fundamental component to how we want to address one of our customers' problems, right? So as we think about that, initial discovery and making sure, are we going to solve the problem? Can we solve the problem that this customer needs, right? Having them alongside and really making sure that, are we asking the right questions to solve a maintenance spend problem or a technology, failure problem for how we can help with their assets, right? They're right there, and they come in many forms. So it's a combination of, I'd say, not only that kind of pre-sales and software sales capability, but also individuals who are sometimes even former customers of theirs who are reliability and success manager experts, right? To really help drive that idea of the value we can help the customer realize and the machines we can help them save to be able to derive even more value upon that.
So, you mentioned, the partnership is coming up on its first birthday here in February of 2023. Augury is very good at solving these problems for customers on that particular type of asset, the lower horsepower rolling element bearing machines. And it sounds like a big part of what Bentley, Nevada brings to the party is Augury had what I would think of as maybe a point solution. They've never said or ever tried to be in the critical machinery space. They've not tried to be in the asset strategy management space. Some of the things that System 1 APM is trying to address. And so From your perspective, is a lot of the value that Bentley Nevada brings is this idea that all these assets can be really managed from a single pane of glass?
That's actually precisely what we're intending and hoping, right, we get to, because as we think about maybe two things. One would be we have our, core System 1 capability that now can be cloud native to be able to deliver that visualization and value generation for those critical machines for our customers. But pairing that together, right, under one interface to make value-based decisions upon what do I want to do with this machine or a set of machines as they operate in conjunction, so that we are basically combining and hopefully generating an even synergistic way of thinking about what value we're driving. At some point, there's going to be, and this is an interesting thing we talk about internally in terms of, sometimes we're going to get to a place where the conjunction of these different machines interplaying under one operation at a plant, you may want to take a decision on a non-critical asset that'll impact that critical machine, but it's necessary, right? Or vice versa. So there's a lot to be said about how powerful this capability combo is going to be, especially in light of, combining that with other things such as our asset strategy, management capability for firms.
Well, that opens up probably almost a series of episodes. Like I said earlier, it's clear that the topic of APM, the product and so forth, warrants its own series of episodes. But I think next in our next visit, Carlos, we've kind of reached and surpassed 5 minutes here. But in our next discussion, I'd like to go a little deeper into APM, because machine health is such a vital part of APM. But maybe we could take a minute to just describe, from your perspective, what is APM, what problems does it solve, and why do customers need it? Because there's always that, well, I've lived without it this long, but that's a little bit like when people discovered the smartphone, then they tended to say, how did I ever live without this thing?
And it's amazing, because as we have customers work with us on piloting some of this, that becomes so visibly apparent after the fact, right? And it's a great story every time as we work with them. Okay,
well, let's dig into that story next time. With that, you've been listening to Take 5 with Bentley Nevada, a Baker Hughes business. We'll see you next time.